would you describe your art and your practice to someone who's curious but is totally unfamiliar with it?
My artwork, some have described it as very smooth lines, and it gives you an uplifting feeling is what I try and create in my pieces, sort of a light subject matter on whatever the subject matter is. I try and make it a light carving so that it's jovial rather than seeming dark.
The piece you have in the exhibition at the Art Gallery, can you tell us about it?
Yes, it's a piece of black stone with antler, hook and a knife. It's a story that my grandfather used to tell. It's a shaman story. The story goes there was these three shaman men hunting on the flow edge where the open water meets the ice. And they're there hunting, and one of the shaman didn't like the weather, so he grabbed a seal hook in one hand and a knife in the other hand. He jumped up into the open sky, hooked his seal hook into the sky. He's hanging there in the sky with nothing hanging on to the hook. And he takes his knife and he takes a swipe near the hook, and he makes a cutting motion. He falls to the ground and he goes, "There, the weather's gonna change." And I could not make that depicting of that carving hanging in the air, so I just made the man sitting down with hair flowing, like the wind is blowing this way hard, and he's got the hook into the sky or the air, and he's gonna cut the knife to cut a tendon in the sky, the invisible tendon in the sky, to change the weather. And that's what the shamans could see, the tendon in the sky, I guess, to change the weather for the better. So that's what I was trying to depict, my grandfather's story about that shaman changing the weather.
As they see more examples of Inuit artists, has the rest of Canada's impression or awareness of Inuit communities changed in recent decades, do you think?
In my line of work, I deliver Inuit awareness to departmental employees at Indigenous and Northern Affairs Canada. And I'm finding out that there's very few people that know about our history. Unless you've taken a Indigenous or Aboriginal awareness training course through college or whatever, then you may know a little bit. But then our history is not in our Canadian history book. So for that, no one really knows who we are because we're not in the Canadian history book. But now I hear in the West, they're starting to incorporate the residential school experience more into the curriculum, which may be across Canada now, but that was the plan, to try and have more of the history about residential schools being the main one being put into the schools systems in Canada.
Can art help to bridge that gap of awareness between the Inuit?
I believe so, very much so, because when I'm doing an Inuit art demonstration anywhere, people are very interested in the process of what it becomes at the very end product. But for many, it's very interesting to see what the process is, because for people who have never gone north and never seen maybe the North or Inuit, it's an interesting way to look at a different culture, because we present ourselves through our Inuit art and what we feel is important to us. We showcase it through our work. Are we adapting to the changes going on in our society? I think so. I think the more the younger generation artists, like that are more incorporating what their experiences are, rather than just making the traditional bear like me and other artists. I think there's some younger generation artists that are doing very innovative things. Annie Kudluk being one of them. She used to live here in Ottawa. She passed away. And I think she was one of the people leading the charge in the different ways of not just creating the traditional art, but more of the artwork making a point or making a statement about whatever subject matter. And I think some are starting to use that medium as more of a use their voice through their art in a way.